One thing we haven't talked about with identification systems is EIDs, and especially those are becoming much more popular. And those obviously aren't going to be the tag that when you're out there looking at, maybe which one needs to be treated or which heifer calves are standing out in the summer pasture, you're not going to be able to read that tag, but it does help a lot with management. So, do you want to touch on some of the benefits of utilizing an electronic identification system?
So yeah, the EID tags we get a lot of questions about those, and it's not really a complicated system. It's just very unfamiliar for producers, and they haven't used them as much, so they're not as confident with it. And so one of the biggest benefits with EID tags is it reduces human error when you're recording your ear tag numbers. And so when you're processing several hundred head through a shoot in a day and you're just recording the visual ID tags, there's room for error, for punching in the wrong number, the wrong letter, whatever it be. And so that's one of the biggest benefits with these EID tags is it reduces that error, and it helps to contain all of your information within that EID number. A lot of states also have the EIDs for being USDA compliant. So depending on what kind of market you're selling into, or if you're selling breeding stock, the requirement for these is there. And so we do sell a lot of those that require the premise ID number to go along with them. One thing that we get a lot of questions about is, oh, hey, I bought a bull from so-and-so and he has an EID tag. Can I scan that and see all of his life information? We wish that would be really cool if it could do that, but they don't. So all those EID tags do is just, they store that premise ID number that the bull would have originated from, but they don't actually store information. So that is one of the big misconceptions about that. But it's still, they definitely are a usable option for customers that have, and really it works whether you have 10 or 10,000, the chance for error is still there. And so that just really reduces it.
And those EIDs, you can get some that come in a matched set with the visual tags people are ordering, correct?
Correct, yeah. So that is something that's becoming very common, and also with our TSUs, or the DNA sampling. And so we see it the most, I think, with producers tagging newborn calves, and they're gonna start them out right with an EID tag and hit them with a TSU vial at that same time to get a DNA sample from them. And so, matching all of those up of, okay, this is calf 2501, her TSU vial is labeled that way, her visual ID tag is labeled that way, and also it says 2501 on her EID tag. So it's just more checks along the way, and making sure all of her information can easily stay together. We have a lot of producers that like that matched pair EID visual ID, for the fact that if a cow were to ever lose her visual ID tag, they can look on that EID button and it tells them exactly right there without having to scan it who she was. So it's just another way for them to keep their records straight.
Brittany, the EID tag is one component of the system, but then there's also the reader. And what should producers consider before they make the investment in a reader to make sure that they are getting the right fit for their operation?
For sure, yeah. But purchasing the reader can really be a big decision. And I think the biggest thing to consider is what kind of information that on your operation you want to record. With Allflex, we have 3 different readers that go kind of from very basic to ones that are just a little bit more advanced. And so just thinking about, am I just wanting to record those numbers and match them with a visual ID as those cows go through the chute and create a list? And then, when I go into my management software system, I can, quickly do a group update using that list of numbers. Or we can even go into some of our EID readers have the capability to scan barcodes, which is a really cool feature for producers that are using the TSU DNA samples. And so there's just a tiny little barcode on the end, and they scan them just like a grocery store scanner. And it allows them to easily connect that data, the visual ID, the EID, and the DNA barcode all together if they're not using a matched pair system like we spoke about earlier. So I think just, one thing to keep in mind is, they're very standard models that read the low frequency tags. So, any low frequency tags that you're using, let's say you purchase a set of cows that have a different EID set of tags in them, your readers, your readers will still read those tags. So they're very universal across the ISO standard models. One thing that you might keep in mind is that there are some companies that sell their proprietary tags and readers that are not compatible with other ones. And so it's just a good idea to be sure and check before you buy, to ensure that, what you're getting is a standard and that it can read a lot of different tags.